Hello my lovelies, it's time for my February wrap-up vlog, so stay tuned. So I want to start out by saying that as I'm filming this, I am very sick, and that's why I sound the way I do, and why this is also going to be a very rapid fire wrap-up. I will, a lot of these books that I read were in vlogs that you'll be able to see, and I'll link those vlogs up here. There are a couple that were not, but I'll let you know when I get to those. Okay, so in my first vlog for February, which was my TBR knockout vlog, I read Tyler Johnson Was Here by J. Coles, and I gave this one 5 stars. It was a very moving read. It's about racist police brutality and what these kids have to go through, and I did discuss a lot more of this in that video. Then on February 3rd, I completed Tiny Pretty Things by Daniel Clayton and I forget who the other author is. I'll put their book up on the screen. I got this off of Hoopla, I believe it was. This was for my prompt of like an adaptation, but it was also for my TBR knockout. Oh, and I should also state that because of the trip and everything that we took, I kind of combined February and March's TBR, so some of the books that I read in February are from my March TBR, and some of my February books are going to end up being read in March. But I ended up giving Tiny Pretty Things 3.5 stars. This was like ballerinas and all their drama. Okay, so this one is actually a placeholder. On, I believe it was the 4th, I completed Keeper of the Lost Cities Exile, which is book 2 in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series. This here is book 3, which I'll be reading in March. But I gave it 5 stars. I love this series. It's fantastic. Now, the next 2 books are books that I read during my coffee exclusive vlog. So you can't really see that unless you're a coffee patron. But the first one was Crush by Tracy Wolff. This is book 2 in the Crave series. I'm like loosely participating in the Crave Along. I enjoyed this one much more than the first book. I think I gave the first one 3.5 stars. I'm giving this one 4 stars. The series follows a group of magical kids at a boarding school for magical creatures and in Alaska. And then the other one that was in that video was Verity by Colleen Hoover. This was my coffee patron buddy read book of the month, and so they wanted a vlog for this book, so that's what they got. This book was something. Okay, so it follows Lowen Ashley, and she's kind of recruited to finish some stories for a well-known author named Verity, because Verity's been in an accident and she's not capable of completing the series. So Lowen pretty much moves in, and she gets way too comfy with Verity's husband, and she finds this manuscript that Verity has written that's not part of the series, but it's very damning and twisted, and that's all I can really say about that. But I gave this one 4.5 stars. Also, my battery is flashing, so let me change that out and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry if the angle changed. Okay, so in my next vlog, which was the Come With Me to Sydney, Australia vlog, I started out pretty roughly and DNF'd three books. So the first one I DNF'd was Scarred by Emily McIntyre. This book, I really enjoyed her first book, and I might enjoy other in this series. They're all standalones, but this one's like Hamlet meets Lion King meets erotic Regency romance, and the Regency romance part just was kind of killing me. I'm just not a fan of that type, so yeah, DNF that. And then next I DNF'd Fame, Fate, and the First Kiss by Casey West. I was just bored. I think I read like 10 or 15% of the way through this, and I was bored. And then I don't have the physical copy right now. It's still packed away somewhere, but I DNF'd The Voice on the Radio by Carolyn B. Cooney. This was like the third or fourth book in the Janie Johnson series, which I very much enjoyed what I read before of Janie Johnson, but I was bored and not interested in that. And so I don't know that I'm going to actually continue the series. I think I might just unhaul it. And then the next book, I started in that vlog, but I think I finished it in the next one, which is my Cruise with Me to Wellington, New Zealand vlog. And I read Dial A for Aunties by, oh gosh, what's that author's name? Jessie Q. Satanto. And that book was so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. We have a girl who's Chinese, Indonesian mixed, and her aunties, and her mother kind of pretends to be her and sets her up on a blind date off the internet, and it does not go well, and the guy ends up dead, and now our main character is stuck with this body and doesn't want to go to jail for murder, and her aunties in a hilarious kind of way help her. And they also run a wedding business. So like one of them does the cakes, one of them does decoration, one of them does hair and makeup. Our main character is the photographer, and they're going to do this big wedding, and they decide they're going to deal with this body after the wedding. But of course things happen, and the body ends up at the wedding, and chaos ensues. It was a really good time, and I gave it 4 stars. Then I ended up DNFing another book, and that was Women and Other Monsters. I forget who the author is. I think I had it on Kindle, and I wasn't interested. I forget how much I got into it. I'm not sure. But yeah, I couldn't get into it. And then on February 15th, I completed Unchanged by Jessica Brody. This completed the Unremembered trilogy for me. So yay, I finished a trilogy. I gave this one 4.5 stars. I very much enjoyed how the whole story wrapped up. And Unremembered, it follows a girl who comes to in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by bodies and plane parts, and has no memory of who she is or how she got there or even what year it is. And there's also nobody can figure out who she is, because she wasn't on like the plane manifesto or anything like that. So it's a good time. I enjoyed it very much so. Next, on February 18th, this was in my, I think it's at the end of that vlog and going into the next vlog, which I don't know what the title of that one is yet because I haven't edited it, but it's the vlog where I go to Christchurch and Dunedin, New Zealand. And that is The Year of Living Danishly, Uncovering the Secrets of the World's Happiest Country by Helen Russell. Very much enjoyed this. I go into detail about like the things that it discusses, but it talks about all kinds of things like their taxes and pastries and hygge and the dark and all of this stuff, and I very much enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 stars. I learned a lot. Then on the 19th, I completed The Valentine's Hate by Sydney Halston. This is a fun hate to love, fake engagement kind of relationship or kind of book, and it was so much fun, and it was a quick read, and I gave it 4 stars. Okay, this last one, I'm not sure if I discussed it much in that vlog or not, but I did read 4 Aunties and a Wedding, which is the sequel to Dial A for Aunties. And our main character is getting married, and things that happened in the first book kind of rear their ugly head. And there's worry of an assassination attempt. There's mafia and ridiculous aunties outfits, and this picture here, the aunties with their headpieces, is just, it's so funny when you've read the book. And I gave this one 4 stars as well. And then the next one, I don't think I mentioned at all in any vlog, because I think I completed this after I stopped vlogging for the month because of just being so sick. But I finished Lock and Key, Welcome to Lovecraft. This is volume 1 in the Lock and Key graphic novel series, and I enjoyed it. I gave this 3.5. I would continue the series. I am interested to see where it goes. It's pretty gruesome, where this guy has come and attacked this family. The father gets killed, and the rest of the family, they move to Lovecraft, and they find out, or the youngest one, Bode, he finds out that there's special doors that can transport you to places. Like there's a door that can make him a ghost, and so he can go and be a ghost and come back to his body. But then he discovers an echo, and this echo wants him to help them escape this well, and they need a key to do it, and they want him to find the key. But at the same time, the bad guy that attacked this family has broken out and is on his way there because he's also looking for this key. But I gave this one 3.5 stars, and I would definitely continue reading that series. And then I DNF'd one more book. I was reading Oblivion Part 2, which this is by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and it's Oblivion. It takes the main story and tells it from another perspective. So the main story is told in Kat's perspective, but each part of Oblivion tells the previous book's story in Damon's perspective. I enjoyed Oblivion 1, which was Obsidian in Damon's point of view. And then I read Onyx, and then I started reading Oblivion 2, and I was bored because it really wasn't adding a whole lot to it for me, getting Damon's perspective. I think it could have done without. So I probably won't continue reading Oblivion 3, but I will finish the main series and read Opal next. But yeah, that is everything that I managed to read in February. I'm sorry if this wrap-up vlog was meh, but I'm also meh. But I hope you guys still enjoyed it, and if you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, but hopefully better, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye.